Right, let's have a butcher's and see what I want. This property is guided at £75,000. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, back-to-back house, which is a freehold. Nice little house. Mid-terrace. And as you can see, the parking isn't an issue. We have a small courtyard at the front of the property. Right, let's go inside. So we're starting at the top of the property. So this is the second floor, second bedroom. Now the property is currently tenanted, but the tenant is moving out in a couple of days. So we've got a small little space outside the bedroom. All right, let's go downstairs. Now, I have got to say, the amount of tenanted properties currently on the market for sale is an absolute crisis. This is an absolute state of emergency. This absolutely cannot go on like this. Now, the tenant is moving out in a couple of days. They're currently paying £500 per coming month. And I'll tell you later what the market rent is for this 2-bedroom property, which realistically is about 2017, 2018 rent prices. So I know people say, well, some people will say, oh, you pesky landlords, you're always raising the rent every 7 seconds. No, as we can see in this case, not all landlords raise the rents every year. Now I know this is what some people want, get the pesky landlords out and get the first-time buyers in. However, you've got to remove the tenant, put the property up for sale, sell it to a first-time buyer, and get rid of landlords. So a first-time buyer must absolutely must absolutely purchase this property. This property has got to be sold to a first-time buyer, because if it's sold to another landlord, it doesn't make sense the tenant leaving. Now, the problem is, if this tenant wants to be rehoused locally, now sometimes a landlord will offer, we're going downstairs by the way, will offer the property to the tenant first. Would you like to buy it? And sometimes the tenant will say no, they can't get a mortgage, they don't have a deposit, etc., etc. But if the tenant wants to stay local, they're going to have a very big problem finding rents for a 2-bed in Leeds for £500. You're going to have to start looking at neighbouring areas like Bradford because the landlord hasn't raised the rent, The tenant has been paying a very, very cheap rent for a very, very long time. But the amount of properties that are tenanted on the market is a crisis. It's not funny. Something really needs to be done because the more landlords that sell, yes, you might argue that the properties are now open for a first-time buyer because this is a nice little first-time buyer house. The only storage in the property is in the cellar, by the way. And they're like, yeah, first-time buyers got to buy this, but where are the tenants going to go? Because they still need to be housed. Now there's going to be a problem, but them finding alternative accommodation at £500 per coming month. But let's do the Jim Jam test. Is a local shop close enough for us to pop in our Jim Jams? Two-bed, mid-terrace, one bathroom back-to-back houses sell in this area for £110,000. So once the tenant leaves, to be fair, the landlord can just stick it on with an estate agent, get full market value for it. The open market rent for this property is £775 per coming month. The local housing allowance, housing benefit for a two-bed in Leeds is £178.36 per coming week. So based on per coming month and not a 4-week cycle, the rent is £772.89, meaning there is a shortfall. The shop is really close. Like, literally, we've only been walking for 2 minutes. Are you brave? Would you pop there in your Jim Jams? It's also got an ATM. The property has been withdrawn from the auction. But let's ask the question, would you buy to live, buy to let, or does Leeds need more investment for you to even think about it? Let's look at the sales history for this property.